Okay, let's talk about Funny Girl on Broadway. So I've talked a lot about Broadway scandals and like crazy Broadway productions quite a bit on my channel before, but right now we are living through a bloody fever dream with this Broadway production of Funny Girl that's on at the moment. I cannot even begin to imagine the amount of stuff that is going to come out about this production in the coming weeks, months, and even years. Like, we're scratching the surface. But for anybody who isn't up to date, I'm going to give a little bit of context to the conversation. So let's take it back to 2009 when Lea Michele first came on TV screens as Rachel Berry in Glee. I knew her from Spring Awakening before then, but this was her like big she's famous moment. Her character Rachel was obsessed with Barbra Streisand and wanted nothing more than to someday play Fanny Brice on Broadway. In season 2, Mercedes was about to sing And I'm Telling You from Dreamgirls, which by the way, Amber Riley, who played Mercedes, went on to play FEY in Dreamgirls in the West End. Mercedes was due to sing And I'm Telling You, but another school stole their song in like the big competition. So the solo was passed to Rachel, and Lea Michele sang Don't Rain on My Parade on Glee. And listen.
She may be difficult, but boy, can she sing.
She did smash it. It is a great rendition. Later on, Rachel moves to New York and there is a Broadway revival of Funny Girl. Rachel is cast as Fanny Brice. A bunch of crazy shit happens. Let's be honest, Glee went very rogue, but that's what you missed on Glee! So, back in 2020, after George Floyd was murdered, Lea Michele posted a tweet in tribute to him. And then Samantha Ware, who played Jane in Glee on season 6, spoke about Lea Michele and her experience of working with her on Glee. I don't know if you can remember, but tensions were like super high at the time, and a lot of people of colour were taking the opportunity while the world was finally listening to them to speak about their experiences of abuse and oppression and bullying and harassment and so on. So Samantha basically said that Lea had made her first experience on a TV show a living nightmare. She said that Lea had threatened to shit in her wig, and then after that countless people came forward about their experiences of working with Lea as well, saying how she bullied and harassed people and created a massively toxic environment to work in on whichever project they were talking about. So like not necessarily Glee, this was people from Spring Awakening and Scream Queens as well and more. Lea Michele put out like a half-baked apology that I broke down in a video which I'll link at the end if you are interested. But basically it was like, I'm sorry you felt like I bullied you, which is just not the way to go. She was kind of cancelled for a hot minute, and then it seemed that it was kind of forgotten about. She was in the news not long ago because they did a Spring Awakening reunion on Broadway and did like a documentary around it where she was talking about getting on a table and using a desk lamp to show Jonathan Groff her vagina because he'd never seen one in real life. And that made the news. But yeah, other than that, the last time she was in the news was for being a bully in the workplace. So back in September 2021, it was announced that Funny Girl was going to be having a revival on Broadway and that Beanie Feldstein was going to be playing Fanny. Beanie is a queer plus-size Jewish actress who's known for being in films like Booksmart and Lady Bird, and she was in Hello Dolly, which was on Broadway in 2017. Understandably, a lot of people were really excited. Beanie she's lovable, she's funny, she'd been on Broadway before, she has a great reputation in the business as being a hard worker and being like nice to work with, and she was going to be like a new fresh take on Fanny Brice that we'd not seen before. However, as soon as it was announced, people just were talking about Lea Michele, like saying, I bet Lea Michele regrets saying that she's shit in somebody's wig now. And it was announced that Beanie Feldstein was going to be like leading this Broadway production, and it was all about Lea. From the outset of Beanie's run, Lea has been a part of it, and listen, by no fault of her own, she's not out there posting these things, but she has been kind of linked in with it all. The show opened in March and received less than favourable reviews. Comments on Beanie's performance were not kind, to say the least. Generally, the reviews said that her voice just wasn't strong enough for the role, she just wasn't right. There were some very unnecessary comments about her weight, which I just think are so irrelevant to the role and how her performance was. But most people were just saying like, she's not Barbara and she never will be. And nobody will be because there's only one Barbra Streisand. But a lot of people were saying, yeah, Beanie Feldstein couldn't sing the role, but Lea Michele could because we saw it on Glee. I didn't see the show and I've not seen a bootleg, so I can't comment on the performance whatsoever. But to be honest, Funny Girl's just not a very good show. and I think that's why it got a lot of the bad reviews. There's some incredible songs, undoubtedly, but the story is just flat, and there is a reason why since 1967, when it was first on Broadway, this is its first revival. They love to do a revival on Broadway. They would have done one sooner if the show was better. Beanie is also best friends with Ben Platt, and obviously there was lots of nepotism rumours and discussion around him in the Dear Evan Hansen movie. Beanie's older brother is Jonah Hill, and so then once these reviews came out, everything kind of turned pretty ugly. There were comments that this was just a vanity project and her family had paid for it. Yeah, it wasn't great. I don't know about the validity of those rumours that her parents paid for her to be in it, but like, that doesn't seem very smart for anybody, so I don't think that is the case. I also though understand paying £200 to see a Broadway production and feeling like you're seeing just a very talented high school senior in a production rather than a Broadway leading lady. Listen, I'm a Libra, and if there's one thing I'll do in this life, it is sit on the fence with things like this, so I can't really comment either way but if she's good or not, because I didn't see it. So moving on. At the 2022 Tony Awards this year, Funny Girl only received one nomination, which was for Jared Grimes as Best Supporting Actor, and Funny Girl didn't perform. But do you know who did perform at this year's Tony Awards? Lea Michele. I think it was weird. I already thought there was something weird going on. It felt like a bit of a kick in the teeth to Beanie. Like, Beanie's performance as Fanny had been totally like overshadowed by Lea the whole time. And again, not through any fault of her own, but now she was performing at the Tonys and Beanie wasn't in the year that her show was eligible. Sadly, Beanie didn't even get to attend because she had COVID, so that was something as well. I don't know, it was just weird to witness the whole thing. So when Beanie came out of her like COVID quarantine, she announced that she would be leaving the show on the 25th of September, and immediately people started talking about Lea Michele, saying, is she going to be coming into the role? Lea Michelle's ready, she's got the costume. And it became kind of a meme, to be honest. Then this Sunday, Beanie announced that she would be leaving the show much earlier than planned on the 31st of July. So Beanie posts this Instagram square where basically she says like, I love the show, it's been my dream forever to play this role, but the show is going in a new direction, and basically like, I can't stay there any longer because I disagree with their choices, essentially. So immediately people are thinking like, what is this big change, or what's a big direction that a show can go in that would make the leading lady quit 2 months earlier than she was expected to be in it? Then later that day, the Funny Girl official socials posted that there would be a big casting announcement the next day at 1 p.m, and everyone is saying Lea Michele is about to play Fanny Brice on Broadway. Honestly, Broadway Twitter was on fire. Lea Michele was trending, it was all memes, it was all jokes, and I feel like Beanie Feldstein was kind of left in the dust of it all. I feel like they overshadowed her leave-in notice. So on Monday, it was announced that Lea Michele would in fact be playing Fanny Brice on Broadway, starting on September 6th. It's mad really, because like, it feels like it was inevitable, and yet I'm still shocked. Does that make any sense? It just doesn't seem real. It's really divided people as well. Like, the thing is, Lea Michele is undoubtedly talented. We've seen from clips in Glee that she can sing the role, and she can sing it well. However, and it's a big however, when someone has been accused and proven to be rude and difficult and mean and a bully, should they be allowed to be back on Broadway? And like, should they be acclaimed and given their dream role? It feels like a very bad message to send to the world that like, yeah, if you're horrible and treat your co-workers like shit, your wildest dreams can still come true. I do have to say, I really admire Beanie for standing up for what she believes in, and to find out that they are casting someone who is a known bully and to leave and to say, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Obviously it's a very privileged position to be able to walk away from a job, but I massively respect it. I really do wonder how much more will come out from people who have been a part of this production, both on stage and off stage, in the coming weeks and months and everything. I do think we need to remember at the end of the day though that Lea and Beanie are both real people. It's okay to talk about a situation, have opinions on it. It's okay to talk about what happened and what's been said, but do it without being cruel, without attacking them, and time without letting them know in their DMs how you feel about them. Beanie just got engaged to her fiance, and I hope she enjoys her next couple of weeks in the show and then leaves and gets married and goes on to be in loads of films and hopefully Broadway in shows that are maybe better suited for her. I really hope that Leah has learned from her past behaviour, and like, I would love for her to come back humble and appreciating what she has and that she's been given this second chance. But I suppose only time will tell. What do you think though? Do you think this will be the last we hear about it? Is it going to go down in theatre history? Do you think Leah will have changed? Will she be good? I have to know what you think. But for now, congratulations Rachel Berry, you are Fanny Brice. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye!